If you're planning to retire in the next 5 years, these are the steps that can make the biggest difference in how smooth that transition feels. We'll cover what to focus on, from income planning and taxes to healthcare and investments and lifestyle, so that you can retire with clarity and confidence. Now, if you're within about 5 years of retirement, the choices that you make right now can have a big impact on the next 30 years of your life. Right now, you're still earning, you're still saving, but you're starting to think seriously about how it's all going to work once the paycheck stops. And I've seen it many times, two people, the same age, similar savings, similar goals. And 5 years later, one is thriving and confident, and the other still feels uncertain and stretched thin. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what to focus on step by step so that you can use these final working years to set up a smooth and confident transition into retirement. First step is to clarify your why. Before diving into numbers or spreadsheets, start with clarity. Ask yourself, what do I actually want this next chapter to look like? And what will I be able to do in retirement that I can't do now? Certainly you're going to have some more time. So what is it you're going to want to spend your time doing? And maybe it's traveling more, maybe it's spending time with family, maybe it's just simply feeling free from the schedule day to day. Whatever it is, get it on paper, because people that retire with purpose tend to feel fulfilled. And people that retire without it, they often feel lost. Even if their finances are in great shape. And you could test drive retirement. You could take a few days or maybe a week and then live it as if you were retired and see what feels good and what feels empty to you. And that sense of clarity is what can help give context to every financial decision that follows. Now, step 2 is to design your retirement lifestyle. And this is where the numbers meet real life. Start picturing, what an ideal week in retirement looks like to you. When do you wake up? What fills your days? What do you want to spend your time doing? And that picture brings meaning to the plan, and it helps you estimate your real cost, which is tied to actually how you want to live. And remember, retirement doesn't have to be all or nothing. Many people ease in with part-time work or consulting or passion projects or whatever the case might be. The clearer you are, though, about what a fulfilling life looks like to you, the easier it is to line your money and your purpose. Step 3 is to build your income plan. So once you know what you want your days to look like, it's time to figure out how to pay for them. So start by estimating what your monthly expenses will be in retirement. And use your current spending as a base, but then adjust for what will change. So for instance, no more payroll taxes in retirement, no more 401k contributions, maybe less commuting. But perhaps there's going to be more travel or healthcare costs, so you have to factor that in. Next, you want to map out your income sources. So, what are you going to get from Social Security? Are you going to get a pension? How much are you going to get there? Any rental property income or any annuity payments, anything like that? All of this, these are your retirement paychecks. Then you want to compare that to what you'll actually spend. The difference here is your income gap, what you'll need to then withdraw from your investments. And in my practice, we use a risk-based guardrails approach to help clients maximize spending confidently while also having a clear framework for when to adjust up or when to adjust down if markets change. And it helps to keep spending sustainable and flexible over time. Step 4 is to use your hidden tax window wisely. The years between when you stop working and when you start Social Security or RMDs, that's your tax window. And it's often the lowest income period that you'll ever have, which can mean opportunity. This is the time to at least possibly consider doing Roth conversions, and certainly managing your capital gains strategically and coordinating which accounts that you would draw from each year. You might even be able to reduce your future Medicare premiums by managing how much income shows up on your tax return during this phase. And another thing to note here is the rule of 55. Now, if you leave your employer at age 55 or later, you can oftentimes take a penalty-free withdrawal from that employer's 401k. Now, just don't roll over the money that you'll need before 59 and a half to an IRA, or you'll lose that flexibility there. Step 5 is to protect against market risk. At this stage, your portfolio isn't just about growth, it's about resilience. You spent decades building your savings, and now the goal is to make sure that short-term volatility doesn't derail long-term income. Sequence risk, which is the danger of poor market returns early in retirement, can have an outsized impact. And that's why your investment and your withdrawal plan should work together. And in my work with clients, I use a risk-based guardrails framework, which I mentioned earlier on. And we start with a sustainable withdrawal rate, which is based on your goals and your portfolio mix and everything else. And then we monitor it regularly so that when markets rise, you can enjoy the upside, get a pay raise, so to speak. And then when markets pull back, we make small early adjustments rather than emotional ones. And it's not about predicting markets. It's really about creating a system that adapts as they change. And that structure provides confidence, which helps to stay invested and avoid overreacting during downturns. And because your investment strategy and your income plan are connected, you're never wondering, am I spending too much or should I move to cash? You have a clear framework that guides those different decisions. Now, step 6 is to get healthcare right. Healthcare is one of the biggest wild cards in retirement, especially if you retire before 65. If you're under 65, start by mapping out your coverage bridge. Some employers offer retiree health coverage. Most provide COBRA continuation for up to 18 months after you leave. You might be able to join a spouse's plan if your partner keeps working. Or you could use an ACA plan where premiums depend on income. Now, even though subsidy rules may change after 2025, the principle stays the same here, that lower taxable income can mean lower premiums. Now, once you hit 65, the focus shifts to Medicare. So enroll in Part A and Part B on time to avoid penalties. And if you're still working and you're covered by a large employer plan, typically one with 20 or more employees, then you can usually delay Part B without a penalty. Just confirm with HR that your coverage is considered credible coverage before you do. Now, if you stay on original Medicare, review your Part D drug plan each year. Check the premiums, the formulas, and all that because they will change each year. And if you have a Medigap policy, shop around periodically. Plans like Plan G or Plan N are standardized. The coverage is identical across companies, but the premiums can vary significantly. Now, if you choose Medicare Advantage, make sure that you check your provider network and your out-of-pocket limits and all of that at each of the open enrollment periods. And remember that Medicare doesn't cover long-term care. That includes extended nursing home or assisted living stays. And so it's important to have a plan for how you'd handle those costs if they come up. Now, whether that's through insurance or setting aside assets or another approach that fits your situation, the key here is simply knowing how you'd cover it, so it's not a surprise later on. And step 7 is that you have to keep adapting. Retirement isn't a one-time decision. It's really a series of them over time. Markets will change, tax laws will evolve, healthcare costs will rise, and certainly your priorities are going to shift over time as well too. And so the best retirement plans don't try to predict everything, all up front. Instead, they create a framework that adjusts along the way. And so to recap here, step 1 is to know your why. Step 2 is to design your lifestyle. Step 3 is to build your income plan and identify your gap. Step 4 is to use your hidden tax window wisely. Step 5 is to protect against market risk. Step 6 is to get healthcare right. And step 7 is to keep adapting as life unfolds. Doing these steps doesn't just help you retire, it helps you retire with clarity. If you'd like to see what this kind of coordinated plan could look like for you, click the link that's down in the description and schedule a retirement strategy call with me. It's a simple 45-minute conversation where we'll talk through your situation, your goals, and what it would look like to work together. I want to thank you for watching, and here's to building your retirement with clarity, confidence, and purpose.